Good morning, Spain. How lovely to have you with us once again. Today, to celebrate our 100th programme, we're going to look at Spain's remarkable journey over the past century. From dictatorship to diplomacy, joining the EU, bringing growth and a lot of prosperity. We have our cultural icons, Picasso, Nadal, Almodovar, flamenco. We also have now become one of the world's leaders in tourism, gastronomy and innovation. It is the perfect mix of tradition and modernity, and that's what we're going to celebrate today. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome, Bruce, to the programme.
Thank you for inviting me to this, your 100th edition.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a special programme, special people, and we couldn't do anything less. Bruce used to be British consul to Malaga,
Okay.
and is now the president of the British Cemetery, which was the first non-Catholic cemetery in mainland Spain back in like 1831 or something,
That's
That was
right.
founded.
That's right, 1831. It was founded by one of my predecessors, William Mark, in 1831, precisely.
That is, I mean, that was a little while ago.
A little while ago.
A little
yes.
while ago. Spain
Right.
has changed quite a lot since then.
It has indeed. I mean, it was founded for a specific reason, that in those days there was nowhere for a non-Catholic to be buried with any dignity.
It's funny you don't think about those things, do you?
Non-Catholics were by law buried on the beach at midnight under armed guard,
Wow.
usually in the nearest rubbish dump,
That's awful.
so that they didn't, that they couldn't contaminate the ground, or which would cause crop failures, etc., because they're Protestants or they weren't Catholics. It was quite horrendous, really, that they had to do this. And William Mark arrived and he said, no, I'm not having this. So he applied to the governor of Malaga at the time and said, look, we must have a plot to bury British citizens, British subjects as they were in those days. We have to have a place to do so. And after about a year and a half of trying, he finally persuaded the governor to grant him a small parcel of land, about 100 square meters, on which to bury British subjects. They buried the first person to be buried there, in fact, was a ship's captain who drowned in the harbour. But the second one was quite a famous person called Robert Boyd. Now, Robert Boyd was a bit of an adventurer, and he got mixed up with a fellow called General Torrijos, who was a Spanish general who had been exiled by Ferdinand, and he has an ambition of restoring democracy to Spain. And Robert Boyd had come into a little bit of money, so he decided to support him. He bought a ship, they bought some weapons. They were in London, they met in London. He bought a ship and some weapons. The British government found out, confiscated that lot, so they didn't do anything there. But somehow or other they made it down to Gibraltar, and from Gibraltar tried to do a couple of incursions to Spain which were repulsed. And whilst they were in Gibraltar, they were there for about a year and a half. Whilst they were in Gibraltar, Torrijos kept getting messages from a quote contact in Malaga, telling him that if they came to Malaga, the garrison in Malaga would rise up with them and they would march on Madrid. So they decided to try this scheme. They took a ship up the coast as far as Vélez, Malaga, where they were confronted by a Spanish gunboat, and chased down the coast down to Mijas, where they were forced to abandon the ship and marched over the mountains to Alarín de la Torre. Woke up the next morning to find themselves surrounded by government troops.
My
And then they were all marched into Malaga, and following about a week's delay, they were all taken to the beach and shot,
Wow.
including Robert Boyd. But there was a delay because Robert Boyd was British And the governor at the time didn't know what he was supposed to do. I mean, was he going to create a huge international incident if he shot a Brit? So he sent a message up to Madrid saying, instructions please. And he got two-word message from the king, shoot them.
Oh my gosh.
So they were taken down the beach and shot. And Robert Boyd's body was rescued and taken to the consul's house, Mark's house, and the following day he was buried in the cemetery. So he's the second guy in the cemetery.
Wow. Oh my gosh, what a story.
The rest of them, Torrijos and the rest of them, were buried in Malaga, and then they were transferred eventually to a mausoleum underneath the Plaza de la Merced in London, in Malaga, with a big monument, a big sort of columns. And if you've ever been to the Plaza de la Merced, there's a big column, and underneath there's a 40-something odd remains of 40 other conspirators. All these years since then, it's still a sort of British cemetery. It's been opened up to Spanish as well now, and Catholics as well.
Even at the Catholics.
Or anybody really.
And I
We've taken-
believe also you were thinking, at least last time, because I went to visit, it's quite magical.
Wow.
You know, reading all the different headstones. It's got a lot of history. It's a very beautiful place. Beautiful gardens. It's lovely. That you also have pets now there. Is that right? There was going to be a pet corner?
there was. I'm not so sure that that's going to continue or not.
Oh, okay.
It was one of our plans, but like everything here in Spain, it takes for an awful lot of time to get any approvals, and bureaucracy it runs mad. And the cemetery is now what they call a BIC, a Bien de Interés Cultural, which means it's a protected building, basically, a protected monument. So anything we want to do in the cemetery has to receive the authority from the cultural department of the Junta de Andalucía and the town hall, and
quite
the
a
bureaucracy.
process,
It's a whole process. We have an idea, we have a plan, and in fact we hope it's going to take place very soon, of putting a memorial garden into the cemetery where we've got some spaces, and as part of that we thought we'd put a pet cemetery in. I'm not so sure that's going to happen now, because unfortunately somebody beat us to it. Paz de Masa, the Spanish funeral cemetery, decided to open one last year. And we've been had ours in plans for about 5 years now.
All right, so maybe you won't get your
wow.
licenses now because they've given the other ones.
Yeah.
Well, as you say in Spain, it is a question of persistence.
Yeah, it is.
I imagine as British consul, you appreciated that even more so with how much patience one has to have in being diplomatic.
Well, I think when I was a consul, it was a bit different, because I had ability to contact people quite easily. But now it's a bit more difficult. They say, "Who are you?" "Who are you? I've never heard of you, so go away." But at least before I could sort of pull a bit of rank, so to speak, and get through to the right people. Now it's a bit more difficult. But it's a process that you have to go through. And apart from Robert, we've got some other quite interesting people in the cemetery. If I may just
Yes, of
tell
course.
you about them. One of my favourite is George Langworthy. Now, nobody's probably heard about George Langworthy,
No.
but George Langworthy was known as the Inglés de la Peseta. He was an army officer who fought in the Boer War, was wounded and came to Malaga to recover. He bought himself a property in Torremolinos, and it was quite a large property. At the First World War, he went back to England to train cavalry officers, came back and realized that he had a big property, but there was a lot of wounded officers, and he thought it would be nice to have a hotel. I recovered here, I'll put my little hotel on this property.
Wow.
So he built a little hotel there, and it became the first hotel on the Costa del Sol. He had
Well,
this sort of penchant. He got a bit religious towards the end of his life, and decided he would give a peseta to any beggar from Torremolinos who came to his door, provided they read a passage from the Bible. So he gave most of his money away. In fact, all of his money away. And when he died, and in between, he had also given his hotel to the staff on condition that when he died, they would bury him, which he did in the cemetery.
wow.
But he's known as the Inglés de la Peseta, He's also the first hijo predilecto or favoured son of Torremolinos.
Yeah, I can imagine.
How exciting.
So
It's
lovely.
so important to plan that last part of your life, isn't it? And
Yeah.
know that you're going to be buried.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just shows how
Well, I
important.
must say, having given all his money away, he was living in the hotel.
He's living in a lot
It's
of
expensive
trust.
business,
Yeah.
all this dying.
I know.
And that was that one. And of course, we've got Gerald Brennan there as well. Gerald Brennan, the famous author who wrote sort of South of Granada and all this Hispanist. There's Joseph Noble. He's known here as Noble, of course. Joseph Noble was a doctor, arrived here in the late 1800s. He arrived to recuperate from an illness himself, but unfortunately, as soon as he arrived here, there was a cholera epidemic. So he decided to help with the cholera epidemic, caught cholera and died.
Oh no.
He'd only been here about for a couple of months at the most.
Oh, bless him.
Oh no.
But his family decided they wanted to do something to commemorate him, so they asked the Spanish authorities for a piece of land on which they could build a hospital. So they built a hospital, which was known as the Hospital Noble, which is still called the Hospital Noble, although it's no longer a hospital. It's at the end of the main Avenida del Parque, near the bullring, in front of the bullring. There's a red brick building there. That was a Hospital Noble, which attended to the poor and seafarers from in Malaga, the fishermen, etc., and sailors and people coming into the port of Malaga.
Really nice to see that the English have done more than just come and eat fish and chips,
Yeah.
as we do now, and for tourism, that we have actually made such a mark in
In
Spain.
history.
Bruce, thank you so much for joining us. I can see you've got a lot more to say. We're going to have to bring you back again if you would like.
My pleasure.
Really lovely meeting you, and nice to see that us Brits have done something worthwhile here in Spain, apart from just coming and having fun.
Again, thank you very much, and congratulations again.
Thank you so
Aw,
much.
Thank you, Bruce.
Make my day. Make my day.
Mira, ¿tú sabes cómo se recluta? Te voy a enseñar un juego. Mira, tú abre, cierra, abre, cierra. Vale, y ahora yo, cuando tú abras, yo cierro. Vale, vale, venga. Cierra, abre, cierra, abre. Vale, más rápido. Más rápido. 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 Quédate ahí, quédate ahí. Quédate ahí. ¡Ah!
¡Ole!
Es un juego. Abre más. Tú tira, cierra y ahora yo. Dale rápido. Dale, 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 dale. Dale, dale rápido. Sin miedo. ¿Ves? Más o menos, ¿no sabes? Sí, está perfecto. Es el primer día. A la semana tenemos esto controlado.
Good morning, Simon, Patrick.
Good morning.
Welcome to the
morning,
program.
Thank you.
And Kate. Boy, did we have fun. Kate went and did some flamenco, I wouldn't say lessons, but
Cool.
you went to meet up with the Navarro family, who are a flamenco group of dancer, cantador, bailador, the whole spots it.
They're so lovely.
And Kate, cute no, lo siguiente, doing the was fun, huh?
honestly,
Yeah.
I think that we we had the best time. It was so much fun, wasn't it? Like, they were honestly just so lovely, like so passionate, so full of energy. Like, I think just being with them, honestly, like I felt Nando's gonna laugh at me now, but I literally had stars running through my veins. It was so much fun. Like,
It was really exciting.
Yeah.
So the first things they were doing were just like the basic showing the arm movements, but the bit I really, really, really enjoyed was they were teaching Kate to do the clapping, but getting the
that's
rhythm.
timing.
Los
And when you're
Palmas.
doing the pub, but not like the normal palmas, the pumping and the girl, when they're like egging you on, when it's
Yeah.
getting like
Yeah.
that. Okay, come on, let's fire it up, and then
Yeah,
they
yeah,
start
yeah.
the clapping and the stamping the feet.
Oh, wow.
That was just magical because it's
amazing.
It is that. It's like they're getting you going. It's not the
Yeah.
actual the dancing, the performing. It's those bits in the middle of the like. It's almost like getting the aggression.
Yeah, because it is supposed to be an expression of your emotions in the moment, isn't
Completely.
it?
Exactly, and they were saying that nothing is planned. They don't
No.
plan their performances. I mean, our lovely Patrick is joining us today, celebrating our 100th program and the cultural history of Spain. You are a social anthropologist. You are an amateur historian. You've written a couple of books. In 2010, it was classified as a UNESCO untangible asset. So I mean,
Right.
it really is now. It is very special.
Yeah.
But the origins of it, I mean, no one even really knows. It's like a mix between the Gypsies, Andalusians, Arabs.
I have an idea. There is an idea that something happened in India in the 1100s.
Yes.
They came. This people were dispersed in two directions. One lot across northern Europe. Hence, we've got 70% of the Romanians and so on, and the others, which we are more accustomed to, came across from North Africa to southern Spain, call it about the 15 to 1700s. Now, their music had adapted to North African music and had something of the chant to it, and they settled in. Well, in every other country in Europe, they were allowed to continue on the roads. But the king in Spain said in 17 something, fine, you can stay here, but you stay in houses. These barrios, for example, in Malaga, became their area, and this sound was heard coming from them in the 1850s to 60s and became popular. They dressed with these amazing colours. People said, look, they're flamencos.
Yeah, flamingos.
Flamingos. And so apparently the name stuck from there
Wow.
to take its place alongside world music.
I mean, for me,
Yeah.
it sounds like, oh my God, I got a stomach ache, and my grandmother just died.
The
Oh, yeah.
water is dried up, yeah. And
It's very dramatic, very passionate.
yeah.
And
So
I think
passionate.
that is in, because we asked them if they would like, it tells a story. But more than a story, it's just an expression of
Yeah.
emotion. And they
Yeah.
seem to be very angry a lot of the
know.
time.
And now you look
But
at
it's very-
Spanish history and you'll get that, and their history,
Yes.
Yeah.
which was deeply
Yeah,
you'll
it's
get
pain.
why.
It's getting
Yeah.
out the pain,
Getting out the
getting
pain.
out the pain, getting out the pain.
Yes.
So really a wonderful experience.
Oh, it was incredible.
I did flamenco Sevillana lessons when I was younger, living in Spain, and it was a lot of fun. And I love the way that you have to put, like, they call it mala leche, that face of like evil, like of disgust, and the whole passion that goes in it. Very good exercise. It's very good for you
It's
to
incredible,
dance
isn't it?
flamenco. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, you were exhausted and you did like 5 minutes.
No, honestly, it was incredible. Like even just doing the clapping bit, like, cause you it's like I think your heart is racing, like the passion going through. But I was sweating just after that little bit, and they were laughing. Well, they
Yeah,
were
and
just
then
so
after that, they
amazing.
went and did 4 performances.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
But it is interesting though, isn't it? Like, because I think that's something that I didn't even know when they were talking about it. Like how Nicole said, like every show that they do, they could be feeling sad that day, they
Yeah.
could be feeling happy, and that is what they express. And the person that is dancing with them, or
Yeah.
doing it, sees that emotion, and they react from that emotion. So instead of it actually being completely choreographed, every single one, it is
Yeah, it's
all off
incredible.
from their energy.
And the female is always the bull.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one
she
that
is the bull.
that kind of like rides it, isn't it?
Which again, you might know a bit more on this as well. Culturally, it reflects the
Oh right, the
machista-
matador
yes.
is the one who's
Exactly,
doing this,
yeah.
and the girl.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So he has to
All-
tame the bull.
I didn't know
Wow.
that. All I remember is like, I see the apple, I pick the apple, and I
Yeah.
bite the apple, and I toss the apple away.
It's pretty loaded with symbology.
It is very
amazing.
passionate.
But it really is so passionate. Like as you said though, Simon, it is so much of like a fusion of like culture, passion. Just it is beautiful. Like I don't know, I get goosebumps even just
Yeah,
thinking
I
about
can
it.
see them.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
literally.
It really, it was special. It really
Yeah,
was
it's
special.
amazing.
And
I'm gonna go and
the
learn this,
the head
yeah.
of the dance troupe is the brother, and then the 3 sisters also perform, and then you've got the guitarists, and I love it when they
Yeah.
play the box.
Oh, the cajon.
The cajon, yeah, which
Yeah.
is a box.
I had one of those,
A
couldn't get
drawer.
on with it,
They
a
play the
drawer.
drawer.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
that just spontaneous,
Yeah.
natural passion, synonymous with Spain.
Oh,
I think all we
loved
can
it.
say to
So
that is
beautiful.
1, 2, 3.
Ole!
Ole!
Yay!
empezar ahí.
Y segundo.
Dale. Rasca como la nieve, rasca. Rasca como la nieve, que la timida esa gitana, hay que ser ponérsela. La timida gitana que se ponérsela. Viene tercera. Amor, 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 amor. Si a ti nadie te ha querido como te he querido yo. Amor, 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 amor. Si a ti nadie te ha querido como te he querido yo.
This segment is sponsored by Allegre Studio Marbella. When you think of car or motorbike insurance, think Linear Director. When you most need your insurance company, Linear Director are there for you. With tow trucks, courtesy car, mechanics, legal advice, even overnight stay in a hotel if you need it. There's a whole department dedicated to us Brits with people who speak English there to help us. If you're looking for an insurance policy that really takes all your needs into consideration whilst you're driving in Spain, then Linear Director really is the company for you. Why don't you give them a call? 952 14 78 34 or contact them online.
Hello and good morning, Spain. Today we're going to be making a couple of tapas. Chorizo, pollo and cebolla. So chicken, chorizo and onion. Really easy this, but super, super tasty. So we're going to get right into it. I've got an onion here. I'm just going to top and tail it. And we're going to finely slice this up. I've got a pan on already, medium to high heat. I've already chopped up a little bit of chicken breast to fine little dices and some chorizo. So I'm just going to peel this onion. I'm only going to need half. And then we're going to take our time and really go nice and thin with this. Again, let the knife do the cutting here. Really sharp knife helps. Wafer thin, the thinner the better. Once I'm halfway down, I'm just flipping it over so I can easily slice again. Beautiful. Let's check that pan's hot enough. Hear that sizzle straight away. The rest of the onions going to spread them out. Let's add a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper. Now we're going to try and get some really nice background flavours into these onions. So while they're cooking away, I'm just going to put in a bay leaf, a little bit of thyme, and a sprig of rosemary. Meanwhile, I'm just going to finely slice a piece of garlic as well. Keeping an eye on these onions, moving them around all the time. We want to get some colour onto these, get them to start looking a bit brown. Garlic, really nice and finely sliced again. Sharp knife, take your time. We want these to be really nice and thin. Again, halfway down, I can fold it over and slice. Beautiful. Let's keep going with these onions. This is one that you just have to really work at. It takes a bit of time, but it'll be worth it in the end. The smell already is amazing. Let's give these 5 minutes, keeping an eye on them, moving them around, get some really nice colour on them, okay? Right, getting some nice colour on these onions now, so I'm just gonna, it's time to add my garlic. That's gonna go straight in as well. Just wanna give that move around as well. Toast off that garlic, make sure it doesn't get too much colour though. Right. Just gonna push these onions now to the side of the pan. Still gonna cook. We're just gonna get ready for our next stage. So a little bit more oil in the pan, in the area that we've cleaned away. Give that a second to get nice and warm. Then we're going to add our pieces of chicken. Now, we want to make sure this pan's hot again, so just add a piece. If you hear that sizzle, you know you're in. Again, I've cut these really nice into little tiny little cubes so they will cook really quickly. Just separating them as I'm putting them in the pan. Bit of seasoning, salt and pepper. Give this a chance to get a bit of colour on it. If you're worried, just give a little piece a flip and see how we're getting on. We're looking for nice golden brown pieces of chicken here. Again, I'm just going to move this into the middle of the pan. Let's see, we get nice golden brown colour on the pieces. Just give them a little flip. We are going to give this all a good stir around at the end anyway, but we're just trying to seal this chicken off. Yeah. Okay, that chicken's getting nice and sealed off now. So I'm going to push it to the other side of the pan. Move my onions about, they're still looking lovely. And then back into the middle of the pan, my pieces of finely sliced chorizo sausage. Now this isn't a spicy one, but if you liked it spicy, you could easily add that, no problem. Okay, again, we want to get some really nice colour on this chorizo, so just keeping it in the middle of the pan, and we'll give it a flip once we start to see that golden brown. Meanwhile, we're just keeping an eye on our chicken on one side and flipping our onions on the other. We can take out the piece of rosemary now, it's done its job. Take out the piece of bay leaves and take out the piece of thyme as well. As that oil comes away from the chorizo, it's just going to drip into those onions and drip into that chicken, making everything just that little bit better. We are ready to go here. This is super easy to finish. Just going to give it a little splash of white wine. This is just going to grab anything that's left on the bottom of the pan, mix this all around together. Now, finishing touches. little zest of lemon. And a little squeeze of the juice as well. Mix that all together, make sure everything's got a nice coating of everything. Finished bit of parsley, and we're ready to plate up. This is fantastic. It smells amazing in here. Right, this is my chicken and chorizo and onion. Thank you very much and good morning. Let's get tasting. This is the best part. Get some of those lovely juices at the bottom as well. Piece of chorizo. This is a really good one. Delicious. Good morning.
Make my day. Make my day.
Good morning, Spain.
Good morning, Spain. Happy 100th episode. So sorry we can't be with you this week, but we're, slumming it in
Yeah,
Spain.
definitely slumming it in this beautiful yacht.
We miss you. See you soon.
Yeah, take care.
We've just been chatting with Patrick Meehan, author, and now we are joined with the lovely Hannah Jeff. She has the English bookstore. It's an online bookstore and covers the whole of Spain for English books. What a lovely idea, Hannah.
Thank you.
Are you an avid reader? Is that why you
I
got
am.
into it?
Yeah, I absolutely love books. And my children are avid readers as well. They love books as well. But I think it's something that I've drummed into them since they were babies. So,
Yeah, books. And
Books.
for example, why would we go, and I don't want to be rude, but to understand, if people are like go to Amazon to buy books, what would be the difference to go to the English bookstore? What are the benefits?
Well,
I mean,
for
apart
us-
from that you're behind it.
of course. Well, for a start, obviously, I'm a small business and I can't compete with Amazon. But what I do try and do is make everything cheaper than Amazon. So my books, I look at the quality of them and I give a more personal touch. So I do lots of recommendations. If your children like certain things, I can recommend something appropriate for them and for their age.
We've talked about this with you, with Holly. Holly's kids read a lot as well. And hello, Charo. Did I even say hello to you? Good morning.
Yes, you did.
I did, just in case. I was sitting there so quietly. Hi. We'll be coming to Charo in a minute because we'll be finishing on a very positive note, which you will understand more in a minute. But we're talking just with, I think, last week or the week before with your kids were here, that finding the what your kids like to then get that book around that topic is a big start for getting them to like reading and to do it voluntarily.
Yeah,
You also visit schools.
I do.
And you take your books, you'd set up like a book fair and then
Yeah,
you do
pop-up
reading.
bookshop, yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, that must be fun for you too, travelling around
I
the
love
country.
it. It's my favourite thing to do. I love going to schools and I love reading stories to the kids and they all just sit there and, they enjoy it as well. So it's such a nice thing for me to do and to promote reading. That's what I love and it's so important for kids to read, to learn language development. There's so many benefits to kids reading.
Do you cover just children's books or do you do all different genres? in the
I do
bookstore?
all different genres, adults as well. I have an adult book club based in Marbella, so I've got Marbella Book Club. So I have adult books as well. I can pretty much get any kind of book. If you want anything in particular, I can pretty much get anything. So
Wonderful. So that means if anyone's searching after a Patrick Meehan book or a Joan Fallon book, we could get the lovely Hannah Jess to get it for
yes,
us.
definitely.
And it's funny, we're missing our lovely Hannah today from All Things Books, but how curious that the person coming to talk about the English bookstore is also called Hannah. I mean, it's like poetry in motion. Well, it's lovely that you are making the books available, that if you were interested for Hannah to go and do a pop-up book fair in your school, come and do reading, or if you want to buy books. And if you're in the local area, why not join in the book club as well? Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Linear Director has come up with a squatter policy for just €24 a year. You don't have to have your home insurance with them. This is a completely separate matter to protect you from squatters. For more information, call 952 147834 or their website, lineardirector.com. To go from dictatorship to democracy means there's a lot of forgiveness that has to go on. People just have to let things go. And that's not easy. If we've been hurt, if we've suffered and we think someone else is to blame, it's very hard not to hold a grudge and carry on with that pain. But our lovely Simon is going to give us some tips on how to overcome.
Oh, there we go. I love being a hot seat. Right, okay, so... there's something in modern psychology which is known as the second wound, and it's more into trauma psychology. But this goes back further than modern day psychology. So in Eastern teachings, more in Buddhism, it's referred to as the second arrow. So it's basically, it's the wounds, it's the suffering you cause yourself because of the first wound. So the first wound is something the world does to you. It's a transgression against you. Maybe it'll be pain, it's betrayal, maybe you've lost your job, maybe your country's at war, or there's political upheaval. There's a lot of unfairness, and that's the first wound. The second wound is what I said, all of you putting the story around it, you protesting against it, the denial that goes with it, the anger, the frustration, the resentments, the protesting to the world, the ruminating, constantly cycling around in your thoughts. That's the second wound. That's the suffering that you give yourself because of what the world did to you. And a lot of people don't like this concept because it puts the onus back onto you, and this kind of thing of let it go, just accept it, which is actually really, really difficult to do because we're hurt, we're in pain. So it's, where would I go with this? It's a lot of advice on the internet, a lot of the pop psychology is just let it go, let them be, accept it, and the world will be, or forgive, and the world will be fantastic, which in and of itself is a great concept, but there's a process in order to get there, which is not usually a very nice process. So there is, first of all, you do have to accept reality for what it is. That's why the statement, if you can truly believe it, it is what it is an extremely powerful thought to hold in your head. So first of all is recognizing that you expected the world to operate in a certain way. You perhaps, let's say, thought your partner would be around forever and would hold you, or maybe a family member has died unexpectedly and you thought they had more years. So it's like, this has actually happened. This is the reality, first of all. Then the next frame is, I don't like this reality. It's painful. And then you need to go through the motions of all the emotions that come with that. And then this kind of conscious effort to stop the cycling thoughts, stop being carried down the river by your emotions, etc. Because you are just harming yourself. So I can't remember the name of the poem, but it's by Rumi. And someone was in the poem is asking this question of, I have all these emotions, all these horrible things have happened to me, and I have all this stuff, and I'm holding the door shut on it all. And Rumi replies with, every day there's going to be a new visitor to your door, whether that's grief, anger, sadness, joy, whatever, and you need to open the door, let them in. And if grief has to come in and take all of your possessions and throw them out in the street, or anger comes in and tears your house to bits, let it. And then you offer it a cup of tea.
Talk about turning the other cheek.
I know, this is where all the Eastern stuff and our Western brains kind of go, huh? But now, which Buddha said as well.
A cup of tea does resolve many things.
The idea is it's part of you, and it's something that needs expression. If you imagine you're holding the door shut on your psyche effectively, and you're not wanting to let the sadness in, well, first of all, it makes you very ill on a cellular level. It makes you ill mentally, and it drains you because you're holding this all the time. Exactly. So the idea is, and the more you do it, the harder they're going to knock. So you open that door and you you let it in and it loses its power. It gets kind of processed because trauma, an event which is bad or traumatizing becomes traumatizing because you're not able to process it. That's the trauma. That's the second wound. Am I making a sense?
Don't
I hope so.
pretend it's not happening.
No, exactly.
Don't lose yourself in it. Just like, again, be present, grab the moment, be aware of what's happening.
There's a phrase in Spanish, you might know it. It's aradareños. It's to hold a burning nail.
Never heard of it.
Agarrarse
a un clavo ardiendo.
Exactly.
I mean, that's translating what you said, but I've not heard
but
it.
It's exactly that second wound.
You're holding on to the burning nail, let it go.
The burning nail. You've got to let it go. That's going to keep giving you the wound. But the fear is, if I let go, I'm going to drop, I'm going to fall, and that's more pain or more unknown, which creates fear. But you need to let go of it.
It's very hard to see it when you're in it.
Oh, ever so much.
Since hearing your explanation, it's obvious, but when you're in it, it's actually hard to even acknowledge your explanation and see that there is a way out of it.
And there is, which is, you could go to therapy, but I'm not. I know I'm a therapist, and I do talk therapy, but I integrate other things into therapy because you need to help your nervous system reset and be safe. You need someone to help guide you through processing your emotions, which can be done through talking, creativity, challenging how you see the world, see where your contradictions are, see the dissonance you're holding on to and what that's causing. You can even go hiking into nature and all of these things which rebalance you and bring it down. And then you have to take these tools, and when you're at home by yourself and the distractions have gone and then everything starts creeping in, that's when you then use the tools you've had to process. I'm feeling this right now, and it's okay to feel this, and it will pass. I will let it pass. I'm not going to let it grab hold of me and take me away, because then I'm causing injury to myself. And I don't want to do
obviously
that.
there is that time of the first initial reaction time that you're mad, hurt, sad, and it's overwhelming. But it's then as soon as you grab onto any ounce of cognitive awareness, it's like, okay, I can't keep doing this, or hopefully have someone around you that can also help, bring the change through. But as you say, Holly, it's very hard when you're in anything. You can't see the wood for the trees.
A normal person, hearing that your nervous system isn't regulated, they're like, I think it is. Like they're not even aware that the nervous system is not regulated, or even how to. But that is a way,
and it's why, like, the internet is also, I'm not against social media, because it gives so much information. So people start to kind of go, well, what is this all about? What is this nervous system reset? What is this letting go? What is this acceptance that people keep going on about? But if you just research a little bit further,
and that it can be helpful. I mean, obviously there are good and bad in everything, but you learn a lot from listening to other people who are in similar circumstances, joining groups of people who are in similar circumstances, but finding some way to talk about. It makes me think, you talked a few weeks about pop psychology. And it's curious how, since you've talked about it, how I hear it all the time. He's a narcissist, passive aggressive. That one's a pass. Person who's highly sensitive, and it was like, oh my God, Simon's right. We're all out there diagnosing each other and insulting each other with clinical terms.
Which is also another defense mechanism against actually letting go of the nail, because you keep yourself on it. Well, I'll analyze it. It's another coping strategy. I'll analyze it. They're definitely this and they're definitely that, because you're trying to make sense of the fact that actually someone just hurt you. Or life didn't work the way you expected it to, and that's a painful realization.
Working on what they did, to analyze what they did, as opposed to how can I not be bothered by it, because that is the reality. As you said, it is what it is.
And it doesn't necessarily, this is something else I've come across. There are very few people out there who are cruel to be cruel. Most people just bumble along through life making a lot of mistakes, and unfortunately some of those mistakes can hurt us. And it's filtering it out and kind of going, actually, they are not a narcissist. They are not evil and cruel. They did something which was hurtful, and that is what it is. It's the end. And my boundary is this. I need to now move past this and move forward, because I can't accept this in my life anymore.
It makes perfect sense. Thank you so much.
Very welcome.
We are all saved
well,
from our trauma.
From our trauma.
But this is a good one, because I think we are all not guilty of this, but I think we all do this.
Oh yeah.
That inside your head and just going over and over and over. So hopefully this helps just a bit.
Yeah.
Talking helps.
Of course.
Yeah. Have a cup of
You're
tea.
welcome. Have a cup of tea.
And have a cup of tea.
Well, on that note, there was a last thing.
Okay.
So there was a teaching by Buddha, which was when you've truly, we're going back to forgiveness, when you've truly forgiven and become indifferent, you will, you can be in a forest with a blanket and tea and biscuits, and the person who transgressed against you, you will invite them to sit with you and have a cup of tea because you are now indifferent. You're completely detached from what they did.
Absolutely, because they say the opposite of love isn't hate; it's indifference.
It's indifference, yes.
Because hate's still passionate.
Yeah, oh, of
they're
course.
still feeling that.
Hate is love turned inside out.
Inside,
Yeah.
exactly. And to get past that is the moment when you reach indifference.
Exactly. That's the moment when you set yourself free from it and yourself.
This segment is brought to you by Clear Vision Psychotherapy.
Linear Director appreciates just how important our pets are to us, and that's why they brought out one of the most comprehensive insurance policies on the market from just €39.90 a year. Give them a call on 952 147834 or from the website lineardirector.com. As I said, we're going to finish on a good note and we're going to get our good vibe on talking about frequency. Frequencies are very important. Everything vibrates. And a few weeks ago, we talked about the X-Crom lenses and how they help transmit information between each eye, the right frequency for each individual. A fascinating topic. And I believe, Hannah, you went and did the test based on, you saw it on the show and thought, I'm going to give that a go. And you're a good reader.
I am.
Why did you think that you would, that maybe you would benefit, or what caught your eye to go and do the test?
I saw it just kept coming up on my news feed, and you just think, oh, that's really interesting. And I started looking into it. I went on the website and I saw the offering tests, so I just went and had it done. And
were you nicely surprised? What was
I was really surprised. I just did it out of curiosity, just to see what it would do for me. And I did the test, and I was so surprised how clear the text on the test paper, how clear it was. And I thought I had really good vision anyway, but doing the test, showing how bold the text was, made it very clear. So yeah.
Wonderful. That was nice to know. And you also did
I was also surprised. I mean, you spoke about it for many, many years, and we talked the frequency language, so I'm just, like you, very curious, did it, and was blown away. I was actually amazed with the colors and that it's not dancing anymore. It's now very clear.
And it's funny because you say it's not dancing anymore. Yeah. Did you ever think in your life that your words danced?
No, but now
It's curious. It shows you how we can, when people are sometimes reticent to read, as we've talked about, it's not necessarily maybe you don't like it, maybe you don't know that there is like a bit of movement, because I think even you mentioned that it's like it's not moving as much, and it's like text isn't meant to move. You don't know what you're missing if you've never seen it. So definitely worth it. And we're going to talk about frequency also in sound frequency. You have got involved with a system called Russia.
Correct.
And it again is based on vibration, frequency for well-being, lifestyle, really just to improve all round syncing up, I think, out because we all resonate. And I went and tried.
Yes.
Very surprised. I was a bit nervous to let go.
Yes.
Because you don't know what's happening. But even so, when I was awake the whole time, I thought 20, 30 minutes had gone by, and you said it was like an hour, nearly an hour and a half, an hour, 20 minutes. Yeah. Completely lost track of time, really, in the quantum space. I like a lot of this, quantum physics and things, but really a quantum space. And well, let me just quickly explain what it is, and then we'll go into my experience. So let's start there. Yes. Tell the viewers what is Russia.
So Russia is RASHA, stands for Reciprocal Antenna Scalar Harmonization Activation. Okay, it's a company which exists 2 decades, so we're not a startup, we're not a pop-up. It's from the United States, and I now have the privilege and the honor to have the technology in Spain.
Congratulations.
In Marbella, yes. Very excited and honored. And basically it is brain harmonization. More than that, it's more than meditation. But for people who think they cannot meditate, this will definitely help you because it's giving you the opportunity to get you quicker. So it's speed meditation, and it's like a massage for the brain.
Now it makes sense
Yeah.
how I'm feeling since the session. It is. It would be like if you wanted to meditate when you're trying to just clear your head. It's exactly that.
Yes.
And when I finished the session, I was nervous again. I had television the next day. What if it's like when I came back from the retreat with
remember you
Linda?
told me.
I was so relaxed, like, hey, morning. I was just so relaxed from the retreat. And I was also like, what happens if I can't present the show tomorrow?
Yeah.
But it wasn't. So I lied down, had the headphones on.
Yeah.
And then you chose 4 or 5 minutes. Like, so what tracks do you want? I said, I don't know, Britney Spears. But no, the tracks are these pulses, vibrations.
Yes.
And if I can remember, one of them was like I was lying there. We put a face mask on so it's nice and, calm. Charo was there, so if you get, panic or whatever. And the first one, it was kind of like I was feeling the beat going from right to left, right to left. So in my head, I'm going right, left, right, left, right, left. Then the next one seemed to like swoop. It was more like, then the next one, it seemed to go all the way around.
Yeah.
Really strange how you could kind of like feel it. Plus, when I had my eyes closed, some were giving me like the tie-dye effect. And then other ones I was seeing bright colors. And so I was just looking at this. I was very aware. I thought I was aware. And that's what surprised me so much, that it wasn't 20, 30 minutes, because I thought, okay, 4 things, about 4 or 5 minutes each one. I do radio, I do television, I have a good perception of time. And I was nowhere near. It was so much longer, and that was what it was.
Yes.
It was like meditating.
That's why it is part of quantum healing, because you lose space, time, and matter. So you're so much in the present, in the now. That's where you heal. But we don't claim it as a medical tool. We say it's a meditative tool, because we can't claim we heal people. But we bring you into this brainwave, which is theta brainwave, and that's where healing is from inside out.
It really does make so much more sense now, you saying just those words, because I have felt myself, I feel grounded. It's exactly as if you had a good meditation, everything very clear, a lot of clarity. And since I've done this session, it's been really very easy. Like my mind is decluttered, which is the objective of meditation, which I find kind of difficult to get in that headspace.
Yeah, it is giving you more headspace, literally.
Yeah, definitely, and I am already looking to see when I can fit in another session, and also now I won't have that nerves of like what's going to happen. I know nothing. I'm very sensitive to things, and I have a very feeling sensory person. So I was going, oh my God. But it was absolutely awesome. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, but it's a really good thing if you're like overwhelmed or got so many things on your plate. Like all summer, I hadn't realised with looking after the boys all summer that I actually was really drained this week. I've been like, oh, but something like this would probably give me some, clarity. 100%. And some energy.
Yes. Really, it definitely did. And as I wasn't expecting it, I mean, I obviously knowing Charo, it has to be something that is reputable and worth it, because I've known her for over a decade, and this is a person who takes their work very seriously, and many years doing charity fundraising for the Butterfly Children charity with Deborah. Is a very responsible person. So I wasn't worried about the system, because if like you believe it, then I know you've done your due diligence. I just wasn't sure how it would affect with me. But now you said that, yes, I meditated for an hour and a half and I came out clear, and it's a week, I suppose, now since I went, but I want to go again, because I know that it can be more, but very, very, very clear, very me. I'm just being in the moment.
Yeah. No, it definitely is an upgrade also. It will give you like a reset, because it's resonating with your DNA. Because in your DNA strand, we have got 12 antennas, and everything with the Russia, it's base 12. So let's say on Spotify, you will hear binaural sounds or any kind of frequency that has nothing to do with what we offer. If it helps, great, but this is more resonating and activating your
Chakras,
DNA. Yeah,
like your DNA spots. it's quite fascinating. Again, we're talking about the history and years, the knowledge in the old days, really, of things that we've only rediscovering now, the benefits of sound, vibration, as in not necessarily for healing, but for just realigning the way we vibrate.
Yeah.
You know, like when you have like too much coffee and you get that buzz. I mean, really, life is that. You can either be too high or too low, but it would really very, very recommend it. And not something that is like financially out of reach. That was really nice to see as well, because these high technologies sometimes obviously can be expensive because of what they are. So that was nice, and an affordable way to meditate. So if you're like me, that's very difficult. Go and do a Russia, are really amazing. And there are other places in Spain? Or are you working on that now?
Yes, I am excited to work on a Russia retreat. I will tell you more soon. I'm working on it right now.
Oh, wonderful.
It will be in Andalusia. It will be a special B12 scalar energy retreat. And the founder will come also to Spain, do some lectures, talk about more quantum physics, morphogenetic, biofields. I mean, I can go into
I find all that fascinating.
Yeah.
Do any of you? I love going into the quantum mechanics, and it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at it and when you try it out, because I actually try it. Like I used to work really, really hard, and now I try to work really, really happy.
Yeah.
And the results are the same or better, because there's not as much of the stress and of the self-demanding, and you know, we're so self-critical a lot of the times, and we don't celebrate our successes.
No.
But today we are.
Yes.
100 successes, a wonderful 100th program, fabulous
Congratulations.
guest. Congratulations to you. Lovely that you've got involved with the Russia. I understand now why, having tried it. And now, say, immediate meditation for those who really can't do it themselves. Lovely, self-help. Holly, thank you. Hannah, lovely, thank you very much. And if you'd like obviously more information, just get in contact and we'll be delighted to pass it on. This segment is sponsored by X-Crom lenses and contact lenses. We hope you found the program informative and fun. We're delighted to be here with you for 100 weeks and looking forward to the next 100. If you would like to look up more information on topics discussed and links to our program and to our social media, do pop along to our website, goodmorningspain.com. We love having you with us. Have yourselves a great week and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now. Bye.